Section 6.5, Adding and Subtracting Fractions. This is a tough one, guys. In this section, we need to be able to add and subtract algebraic fractions. There's two big things that you need to remember as you go through these problems. In this first one, I wrote in all caps. You must have common denominators. You cannot add or subtract two fractions that have different denominators. That's why in last section we spent a lot of time trying to find LCDs. In this section, you're going to change fractions to have the LCD, and then add and subtract. The last thing to keep in mind as you go through these problems, be sure to simplify the numerators. That means distribute, multiply everything out, collect any like terms, and then see if that fraction can be simplified. Alright, here we have a subtraction problem. In order to subtract these two fractions, they must have common denominators. And lucky for us, these do. They both have a denominator of 3. So I'm going to go right ahead and write out the numerators on top of the denominator. So 2x minus x minus 1, notice I put this in parentheses. I am subtracting both x and minus 1. Really, when I distribute this negative, I have 2x minus x plus 1, which simplifies to be x plus 1. This fraction is completely simplified because there are no factors on the top that can be canceled with 1 on the bottom. Alright, now we're adding two fractions. First thing I need to do to check before I can add these two fractions is if they have common denominators. In this case, they don't. So I must find the LCD. I'm going to consider the LCD in this case to be c minus d, because I know that this denominator here is just the opposite of c minus d. That means if I want to rewrite that denominator as c minus d, I can think of it as the opposite of that. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by a negative, and now they have common denominators. So let's see what happens when I combine my fractions. I can't combine any like terms on the top, but they do both have a factor in common, and that is 5. I'm going to factor that out. It looks like I can simplify my fraction. This factor cancels with this factor, and 5 is my simplified fraction. Alright, let's try a harder one. This one definitely does not have common denominators, so before I even think about subtracting them, I need to rewrite the fractions. Lucky for me, the denominators are just plain old numbers. Finding the LCD is relatively easy. 24 is the smallest number that divides 12 and divides, 8, that can be divided by 12 and can be divided by 8. So that means this first fraction I need to multiply top and bottom by 2. And the second fraction, I need to multiply top and bottom by 3. What I ended up doing is just taking this 3 here, multiplying it by the 3 to get that one. Now I have common denominators, now I can rewrite it as one fraction. I need to do some simplifying and distributing, because I'm not going to leave my numerator like this. Combining like terms, I'm going to have n and a 23 all over 24.